Hello everyone, welcome to the Deadlock meta. Today we're going to cover the top 5 characters to play in Deadlock since patch 11.21. At number 5, we have Abrams. Now Abrams has been one of the most consistent heroes in this game since release. He has pretty much always sat at minimum B tier, but usually S or A tier due to a couple of reasons. He received some nerfs in his healing passive and some buffs in his first from the latest patch, but it's hardly affected his impact on the game. His win rate has stayed steady between 51 to 53% over the past month, and only saw a 1% decrease in his win rate since the latest patch. He continues to dominate the meta for a couple of reasons. He's one of the easiest characters to play at all tiers, he's one of the only characters with a fully passive ability, he has 2 stuns that are relatively easy to hit, and a first ability that simply requires you to be near enemies to get value. He's one of the best laners. Something unique about Abrams is that his gun can reload 1 bullet at a time instead of an entire clip. This capability allows him to outlast hit any opponent he plays against. How many times have you missed last hits or souls because you had to reload? Abrams doesn't have this issue, and on top of that, he's extremely tanky, so it's hard to harass him out of the lane. He's also extremely disruptive. We're in a non-jungle meta right now, and lane presence matters more than ever. In a similarly skilled matchup, Abrams will almost always be equal or above his lane opponent, and therefore can pressure his lane to force opponents to rotate to him, or he can choose to gank other lanes with ease from his 2 stuns. In teamfights, he can disrupt the backline and draw attention towards him, granting more freedom to your teammates. And most importantly, he can ult to secure the Rejuvenator. Number 4, Haze. If any of you have been following the Fight Night weekly tournaments, you know that Haze has been getting outclassed by Wraith and Infernus, and Yamato recently. However, since the recent patch, her pick rate has reached nearly 100% with a 3% increase in win rate. The main changes this patch were to her Smoke Bomb and Ultimate. Her Smoke Bomb now receives earlier sprint speed, more bullet lifesteal late game, and allows item usage without breaking invisibility. Her ultimate now deals tons of spirit damage and scales over time. One of the biggest reasons Infernus was picked over Haze was because of the better early game and ability to steal the Rejuvenator through his ult. Likewise, Wraith's ult at max level automatically granted more value in teamfights. The issue with Haze before this patch was that you could just buy Return Fire or Metal Skin and counter her entire ult. Additionally, her early laning phase was one of the worst in the game. After the patch, Return Fire deals less damage to Haze because she deals more spirit damage and only 30% of spirit damage is returned. Moreover, her spirit damage can also penetrate the metal skin, so she's not able to be fully countered now. Additionally, Arcane Surge is one of the 3 new items and has high potency with her ult damage and radius. She should ideally be in a solo lane or paired with a support or tank character such as Warden or Viscous if she's playing in a duo lane. Haze's win rate is exceptionally high at all tiers of play, but it's most favored at mid tier, likely because she does require some good aim and good tracking. Players are also not really playing around her ult as much as they would at higher ranks, so you could take advantage of this. At number 3, we have Warden. Warden has peaked as a character within the past month or so and averaged close to 53% win rate across the board. He received some nerfs this patch, however the character seems significantly more balanced now than he would if he had Majestic Leap and his old ult. The nerfs haven't affected his win rate and it continues to be a reliable pick this meta. I personally think you should run him in a duo lane with a hero that can help guarantee his binding word, such as Vindicta's Stake, Haze's Dagger, or McGinnis's Wall. Binding word is one of those abilities that is highly polarized early game. If you don't land it, your opponent's simply going to dash jump away, whereas landing it can easily result in a kill during the laning phase. If you are a player that enjoys all aspects of a character, this one might be right for you. Warden is tanky with his second and his ult. He does commendable spirit damage, has a mid-range gun that can be set up for DPS late game, and I'd recommend Deathy or Metro's Warden builds, which I've left in the description. However, as long as you have a balanced build between vitality, spirit, and damage, pretty much any build will work. Pick one that ideally has slowing hex to help your binding word, Fleetfoot since movement speed is key for your ult, and Quicksilver reload on your first ability. Oh, and by the way, if you're looking for any of these item builds, I'll leave them all in the description for you guys later. Compared to the previous two heroes, I'd recommend Warden for any tier of gameplay in the current meta. At number 2, we have Krill. Now this has to be the most underrated character in the game right now. At one of the lowest pick rates, around 45%, Krill has been in the top 5 for win percentage, ranging between 51% at the Seeker level to 58% at Eternus rank. This character has seen a lot of traction over the past few weeks in Deadlock tournaments as a reliable laner, tank, and crowd control demon. He can be played as both a solo laner and in a duo lane. Advantages of running him in a duo lane include more healing from Scorn, easy setup for your lane partner once you get combo, and increased chance to obtain a larger health pool from getting killed with your combo. The biggest benefit of this hero is being able to lock down the opponent's carry or top farmer in teamfights to give your team a strong chance of mitigating their impact. Builds are very similar with this character. If you want to build your own guide, then I recommend building around Vitality and Spirit primarily. Core items include Return Fire for when you ult, Torment Pulse since you'll be in the midst of every fight, and Warp Stone or Phantom Strike to lock down their carry. Krill's value increases linearly with rank, as he can't really solo carry most games. He requires coordination with his combo ability. I don't recommend playing him if you plan on putting the team on your back at low ranks. No pun intended. Number 1, we have Ivy. Now, Ivy is far from the flashiest hero, but she doesn't have to be. It's all the little things she does that add up to her high win rate. Ivy is currently averaging close to 53% win rate, and she's been at the top of the game for a while now. Picked in almost every pro match, Ivy can farm efficiently with her first, support the team with her second, stun and sustain herself with her third, and her ult can essentially save teammates, deliver urns, or initiate a fight with a huge silence. I believe that Ivy is by far the most flexible hero in the game. You can build Spirit Ivy, Gun Ivy, Support Ivy, or any combination, and it'll likely be effective. In Deadlock, you can't guarantee what you'll play with or what heroes your teammates will have. And Ivy's values increase tremendously for this reason, because you can flex to any build and playstyle. I think Ivy should be run in a duo lane to get more value out of her second and her stun, but also because many solo laners can easily beat her in a 1v1. I'm not going to recommend any specific build because she's so versatile. However, I recommend a farming tool such as Tesla Bullets or Rapid Recharge, and then getting improved reach because it affects all of her abilities greatly. Ivy excels at mid to high tier gameplay due to coordinated teamfights and earned deliveries. If you're a flexible player that understands the macro of Deadlock, well then this character's potential is limitless in this meta. It was hard narrowing this top 5 list, and I wanted to give honorable mentions to Dynamo, Pocket, and Viscous, all of which are dominant in Eternus rank and tournaments with around 55% win rates. Pocket requires one of the highest degrees of individual skill, and Dynamo and Viscous require more coordinated gameplay and are intensive team fighters. I hope you all enjoyed this content. Please be sure to subscribe, like, and comment for any other Deadlock content you'd like me to cover.